Hey people, Save Your Peepee here. This vid is dedicated to Joffrey, Order Joffrey. Since the lockdown, I've played in 3 events. Brought him back for my 3rd Legendary Wolf Weekly and clinched first place with Joffrey, this deck. This deck that I'm about to show you. Still very far from ideal. There's a lot of things I would change still. The thing I like about this deck is you get big PP points for playing characters that aren't considered tier 1, like characters that are off the radar. And some people, when they read Joffrey and me at first, I'm like, this character is actually not all that strong. That response is very deceptively strong. It's most of the time it's probably not quite as good as Lilith's are, and also most of the time that E that Joffrey, that form and that E that Joffrey has probably maybe aren't quite as good as Lilith's enhance. So he is really closely related to Lilith. But there's just this one little detail that he has on top of Lilith, and that's that he has the order symbol, which is order symbol big PP power right now. So some of his strengths are obviously messing up decks that are really reliant on getting to play enhances. If your opponent's playing Coffee Samba and that's like their crutch to kill you, then they're probably not going to win. On the other hand, he's like a dead character if you're playing against Lord Raptor. I played a game against Cervantes 2, and Cervantes 2 ability can just make it lose flash after I give their attack flash. Our character R's basically just negated one another's, like we both stare at each other. Because if one of us uses our R, like if he uses his to get a bunch of powerful, then I give it flash. And I give something flash, he makes it lose flash and it gives powerful. So we're basically like deadlocked on our character responses. Yeah, but definitely Lord Raptor is the big obstacle for this character to win any big event. Anyways, let's look at this deck here. Joffrey. I actually played 2 of this card. I don't know where in the deck it is, but I was trying to meme with this deck in particular. I was trying to meme out 6 characters so that I could tap my opponent's character card with the Noob Foundation, Resurrected Evil. And it never worked out, and that's one thing I'd change. In fact, I have 4 copies of Joffrey 2 in this list I played, but I think 3 is probably fine and no copies of Joffrey 1 because you get decreasing value with every Joffrey 2. So, and they clog my hand a whole lot. So I think 3 is plenty. Make room for other things like foundations or attacks. 2 copies of Albion. Really strong asset. I find myself picking this up with Scarlet Meteor all the time. Gives free gauge. Gives free minus difficulty and damage to my next attack. I might even put in 3. It's so good. Pulled a whole lot of weight. 4 copies of A Moment's Rest. Really good for when I block with a character and then I get to drop it down for free. Really good for throwing out a 5 damage meteor to bait my opponent into blocking it by giving it gauge with the enhance ability. Really good card all around. 4 copies of Ageless and Wise. AntiToger Bros. Anti-Spirit Gun. Anti a lot of things. +2 low block. It's a really good card. 4 copies of Bearer of the Makai Whistle. I hardly use that ability. When I do, it's to turn on my Lightning Torture. I'm sure there's some times where the other one where I can stack my opponent from their RFG would come in handy, but otherwise this is just a really good statted foundation. 0 difficulty, 6 control, and +2 mid-block. 4 Voice of Reason. Very good tool for digging for... Really good tool for digging for attacks when a game goes long. Really bad when Pure of Heart might be in your opponent's hand. Really good statted no matter what. 0 diff, 5 control, +2 mid-block. 4 copies of Marrying Age. Control gets in the way sometimes, but the rest of it is worth it. +0 high block. So many times having a +0 high or low block in your hand just saves your life. Not to mention the other 2 abilities really good too. Giving 2 speed to a Moonset makes your opponent die randomly all the time. punish the crap out of people with sense of morals, but just watch out, make sure they don't have Marrying Age 2. 1 copy of Pursuing Vendetta, just a 5th copy of Ageless and Wise, pretty much. 2 copies of Nearly Consumed. Yeah, I played this card pretty much as a meme to assist me in getting out 6 copies of my character, which never happened once the whole event. This is 1 card I would scrap. Not to mention, this card gets out your Joffreys on your opponent's turn, and you don't get to R with the freeze response that Joffrey 2 has when you do that. So, it's not very good. Not very good. I'd change that. Easy 4 of Passing the Torch. Hey, I didn't kill my opponent. I mean, oh hey, I didn't draw a kill turn on turn 6. It's okay. Just tap my 2 or 3 Passing the Torches I have out, and I'll just magically draw it. It's great. 4 copies of Resurrected Evil. Almost always super good value when I see these come out. Get to hit very high priority targets. 3 copies Radical Edward. I kind of had higher expectations for it when I first put it into my deck, but it still does a lot. Sometimes drawing that extra +0 mid-block into my hand with that passive static on it is really good. Sometimes, not a lot. And usually that enhances really good. I can commit, I'm pretty sure, any asset. Maybe there's an exception somewhere, but almost any asset I can E to tap it with this. Tap really good foundations. Last of his kind. What's better examples? I need to look up some examples. Oh, it can tap Confronting Jeddah. Refusing to Let Go. True Identity if my opponent is looping True Identity by readying it, which pretty frequent. In the future, I might cut it down. If I really want to cut my deck down to 60 cards, I probably cut this down to maybe 1 copy. 4 Kali Yuga, easy 4 of. I need to run more cards that let me blow my stage up down to 6 cards, because that enhanced commit. Ooh, it's like having free Keelik as my character. Looping Moonsets and Meteors wins the game on turn 2, turn 6. It doesn't matter. One Flambert. Good for just good speed hacks. 1 Refusing to Let Go, really good one-off unique card. 2 Mother Russia, because I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of punishing my opponent for drawing for any reason other than their character. 1 God of Thunder. I should add more. I should have, I only have 1 right now. It should be at least 2, because I find myself wanting to get this out all the time to blow my stage up down to 6 cards for Kali Yuga. 1 Last of His Kind, really good one-off. 2 Inviolable Judgment. I played 2 kind of as a meme, a meme. Because, you know who that looks like, right? That looks like Byaku Yakuchiki. Which now, very good time to bring up, whoever owns Bleach scrubbed my whole vid where I compared all the 7 X characters to Bleach. They did it after the fact too. It's like, yeah, you're cool to upload this, and then like afterwards, like, nah, we just detected some Bleach footage in that, so it's gone. Oh yeah, that sucks. That sucks balls. 4 Forbidden Moonset, Power Creep, Cash Grab. This card probably shouldn't have powerful well, it would still be really good even without powerful 5, but that just makes it randomly kill my opponent late game. Randomly. Really good card. New Seong style Scarlet Meteor, 4 of, because it's really good. Yeah, that card and Moonset really carry the order symbol. That's like the only reason to play order right now, is those 2 cards. Good on any turn of the game. Not to mention that's a really good block with Breaker 2. 4 Lightning Shots, yeah. 4 Lightning Shots just because it's got Stun 3 usually. Usually not less than Stun 2. It's got Gauge, so it's block bait for my opponent. And +1 high block, really good. Really good poke that my opponent will be scared to block because they're getting stunned out, and if they block too much, they're going to die to my random Moonset that I have in my hand. But if they don't, I just get more Joffreys and make my my kill turns later more vicious. 2 Storms of Torment. Really, really good. I got a lot of value out of this. That discard of momentum to tutor a character came in handy a lot when I couldn't hit my opponent. When I just can't hit my opponent for gauge, but I have a momentum handy, maybe from hitting them with a non-gauge attack, or with a gauge attack that didn't do enough, or with a Moonset giving me momentum. That ability came in handy all the time. I might put more of that card in, but we'll see later. 2 Frost Hammers. Really good synergy with Joffrey because, you know, he taps them out. And this one taps their life out with big fatty damage. 4 Rouge Signets. Big meme card because if the first one hits you because you don't have the mid-block in hand, you're probably taking, I don't know, like 9 damage from this thing usually. Crazy value. And makes for some of the greediest turn 1s ever, too. 4 copies of Geoffrey, too. Because why not? Plus 0 mid-block. It's a 6 control button. You know, as a 6-hander that doesn't have any built-in draw, my hand got clogged a lot by Joffrey. Joffrey 2 dot. And my second copy of Joffrey 1, which I never really got out 6 characters, so it was kind of pointless and just clogged my hand more. I would take it out in the future and not try to live the meme dream. Just got in the way of what's important, which is just beating your opponent down with meteors and moonsets. That's what's important. Sideboard. And then the sideboard, 2 Pursuing a Vendetta, more stage destruction hate. Thundering Break, 3 of it. Yeah. I think for this event, Spiral was still legal, so this is my Spiral hate. I had 3 of it. 2 Soul Calibers. I should probably find room for like 1 main board because, you know, every deck has assets. I mean weapons. Almost every deck has weapons. And then just 1 random throw hate tasked by Hephaestus. Yeah, so I really like Joffrey. This deck is 73 cards, 74 plus 74 including character. There's a lot I would change it. I would probably just cut characters and maybe 1 attack just to cut it down to 71 including character. Easily cut some cards. In this deck, I did not play Searching for Salvation, this Song Mina card that gives flash because it seems kind of redundant on Joffrey, but a lot of times I found myself wanting an emergency button for when Joffrey wasn't there for some reason because he was tapped or sealed, or because I needed to use him more than once, or because my opponent was Cervantes. Hope you all enjoyed this deck. Come back next week when I do T-Hawk.